Well, we're gonna pass this video around. Well, don't tell nobody what we talked about today, Joyce.
No, be sure and don't.
You go up to Cornell, she'll tell you what she's all about it.
Because our sisters get things confused. Oh, me.
But we had a time today. This is February the 3rd, I guess. Is this the 3rd or 4th?
3rd.
The 3rd, February 3rd, 1999. And Joyce and I and Tommy went shopping today, and last night Buddy and Tommy and Joyce and I ate out at this motel. We had a nice, wonderful meal. And this is a very exciting time for us. Be with some of our family.
Yeah. Okay. This once a year thing, it's very, very nice. I just hugged his neck and thanked him just a little while before y'all come in. I said, well, we hope we get this. Maybe it won't be another year, but if we don't, we enjoy it once a year at least, don't we?
That's right.
So what do you think about all
we
that
just
talking
stay
they're
well.
doing?
If we can just stay well.
What do you think about all that talking they're doing?
Well, they ought to be caught up.
Yeah, they're good at it, aren't they?
They're good at it, and I like to listen to them. And I put my 2 bits worth in once in a while.
Well, let me ask you, did you see that the corn purse and the billfold that Carol got? Have you seen it?
No, he hasn't seen that. He must see that. I
Well,
had a
I tell
big
you what,
laugh.
boy.
At a sales girl and I had a big laugh at what J.C. Penney's.
Wait a minute, I'll show y'all.
And where she keeps her change in her purse. You gotta see this.
This is my billfold.
Bring it on right here, Carol.
This is my billfold.
Hold it, wait a minute, right there.
And it's got some more. You turn it this way,
Hold that Lipton up there.
and you can hide money in there, and nobody would ever suspect you had a dollar bill in there.
Have you ever seen that before, Tommy? And show him.
And the only thing is, see, it's tearing up. I've got to buy some more Lipton tea and make me another one.
I believe.
Because everybody says, what is that? And they look at me real funny. And Heather says, Granny, you embarrassed me to death with that.
Well,
Oh,
show your change first. First
then,
time
when I get my bills out there, and then I
First
say,
time I saw that, I said, Carol, do you take all those pills? That's her change purse.
so one day when I was at the store, and this lady was checking me out, and she said, do you want to pay for that Mylantha now? I said, not hardly. I said, look at there, what's in there. Full of change.
She didn't feel like
I've been using this same bottle for about 3 or 4 or 5 years. And that girl today said, you know what? Said nobody would ever guess you had money in that, so they're not going to steal your money.
and they probably don't want those pills.
I don't know. They get mighty smart.
We
Yeah.
take Gaviscon. That's what we take. Gaviscon, don't we, Tommy?
Cold Coca-Cola does make a better job at anything.
And
I had indigestion a little bit last night, and I got up at about 12 o'clock and drank me a half a
Diet Coke.
Diet Coke, and about 2 or 3 minutes I got a good one, burped a good one.
A good old burp, boy.
Well, do you hear that noise now from the laundry room? It's not
He
going
hasn't
on.
yet, so hopefully they won't run those washes all night long.
You
like
would
they
think,
did
though,
last
after
night.
they change the sheets on all those beds, they'd have to do it every
I
night.
know. And,
Maybe they don't start till 10 or 11 o'clock.
what time you get ready to go to bed?
Well, you know, that makes sense. They gotta wait and let everybody take a bath,
Yeah.
because they can't run the washers while everybody's showering and using water. So I guess they have to do it late at night. So you gotta wait a little while.
Everybody here at around 12. That's when I went to bed, about 12. Well, I went to turn the light off at 12. I was out. I looked at old Larry King, and then he went off at 12. And I got in the bed and I rolled. I kept hearing that thing, and I kept hearing it. I got up. I thought it was an old truck out there with a generator on the way it sounded. It'd rub up and then it'd go down almost a little out and then it'd tear it up again. I couldn't see a thing.
Well, tell them about the time that, we used to have these old colored people live down below us, and one was a midwife, Aunt Easter. Well, Mike was, how old was he when he had the bird dog?
Oh, he was in high school. We
Well,
had
we
the
let
fence
the,
down
let the
there
dog,
around the
let
house.
the bird dog out to
Take
run.
exercise.
And Aunt Easter had cooked a big old skillet of cornbread. That was gonna be her supper, that and some clabber milk. Well, in a little while, here comes Mike.
We were out in the front yard on the front patio on the tree. And we looked and we saw,
The bird dog coming down the
I
highway.
can't remember what we called her.
What is he got?
Yeah, she come just running up and she had something in her mouth this big.
She had that old skillet of hot, warm cornbread.
And she
Stole
just
it out of
walked up and there it was.
She was so proud of herself. Tommy said, oh my goodness, she's stolen somebody's supper. So, I don't know if he took it back that afternoon.
Yeah, I
He
went
went
down
down and
there.
he said, Aunt Easter, have you missed anything? No, said Miss Tommy, I don't guess it has. He said, did you cook you some cornbread? Yes, sir, that sure is what I'm gonna have for supper. Said, well, we hate to tell you, but it didn't damage too much. The dog had brought it down the highway. Oh, Lord, Miss Tommy, I sure is proud you brought that back home.
Hmm.
She was gonna eat it anyway, huh?
That dog's name was Cleo. That old bird dog was named Cleo.
Yeah. But she lived to be quite old, didn't she?
Who?
Aunt Easter. Aunt Easter. But you'd see her walking down the highway with her little black satchel. And,
She was midwife, Joe.
yeah, that's what I say, what'd I call her? Yeah, she was a midwife. And, but that's when we had the good colored people lived there, all down there below us. And, of course, they've all been gone a long, long time ago. But they were just, you know, just a pleasure to be around and have. And,
House was, it was hot and every door was open in the house. I wasn't in the front door. And,
but
she
you moved
wasn't
your
in the
hand.
house, and she was out in the backyard doing something. She was real. I don't guess she eat it after old Cleo had it, but I told her she could feed it to the chickens.
She helped us pick cotton one time, didn't she?
Yeah, that was the time.
When he was,
Mike was about 14, and one of his teachers was in the National Guard, and he had his own airplane. He took Mike riding that afternoon when they was picking cotton up there in the field. And the airplane came down, Harry Phillips was his name. He got killed in Vietnam and served in a done helicopter.
but anyway,
Later,
this particular
he
time,
dived down with that plane.
those old colored folks.
And they were all
Field.
running and cotton didn't hitting the ground. Mike could see all of it, so it just tickled him to death.
And then when Sonny and Leela lived up in that little house, the first time they poisoned cotton around the house, scared them to death. They were trying to get up under the bed. They thought the world was coming to an end. They didn't know what was going on.
First time I ever had a poison.
That's what I say.
That airplane came through there with a poison. They've been putting it out with tractors. Oh, that scared her.
Leela was so big, she tried to get up on the bed and she got hung. They go behind. It just scared them to death. And, but you know, that was pretty, a scary thing.
I guess so.
Those planes just like they're gonna take the top off. And,
Back yonder in the 80s, cotton was real going uptown, boy. It was in the Delta. They made a wonderful crop, and the price was about $1 a pound. two fellows, farmers up there. One was a much bigger than the other neighbor, but both of them made good crops, so they decided, they went to town. The man that had the big plantation, his wife, when he told his wife he's going to town, said, do you want me to bring you anything? He said, yeah, I want you to buy me a big white Cadillac. So he goes to the town close by. I don't know where it was up there, but they said it was true. It was up there around Shaw or Leland or Belzone or somewhere. So he did. He went on to the town, bought him his wife a brand new, long, white Cadillac. So he was there in the town. He saw his neighbor, lived down the road from him. Said he showed him his Cadillac. So his neighbor says, you know, my wife told me to get a new car today, but said, I didn't make the crop you did, and I didn't make as much as you did, so I can't buy her a Cadillac. I said, I'm gonna see what I can do. So he went down to Ford's place and bought a blue Thunderbird. So as he started out from the town, he went through the colored section of town, and he saw a black boy coming out of a house. He had a police hat on, cap on. So as he...
Fixed to get on the bicycle, wasn't he?
Yeah, I'll never tell it. I'll get it straight.
Okay.
So then the black boy, he looked at him and said, and oh, an old boy worked for him. Old John or Jim or someone. And he said, what are you doing in town? Oh, I stopped by to see my girlfriend last night. And he said, what are you doing with that police cap on? I said, well, she said, one of her police friends was there last night before last, and he left his cap. So she gave it to me. And he said, well, how are you going home? Well, I rode down here on my bicycle. He said, well, put your bicycle in this new Thunderbird. He said, no, sir, I'm not going to put that bicycle in your new Thunderbird. Said that your miss, when you get home, says he'll get mad and he might just hurt the car on the inside. No, I'm not going to do that. So the fellow reached back there on the back seat and got a leash that he had for his dog leash. So he wrapped that leash around the handlebars of the bicycle, and he told him, said, now you stay right behind me and I'll pull you. So now if you get to going too fast, he had a whistle that he used to call his dogs with, was hanging on that leash, so he gave him that whistle, put it around the neck, said, you blow this whistle if I get to going too fast. So yeah, they went. They went off down the road, and they got down there and got on the main highway heading home. And about that time, the man in the white Cadillac came along, zoomed by him, and got in front of him. And the white Cadillac just kept getting. He wanted to make sure he stayed up with the Cadillac. Show him that old blue Thunderbird could make it. And he forgot about the fellow on the back at the back. So as he's riding down the road, said a policeman a highway patrolman was off to the side, and he saw what was happening. Said there where they were going down the road, just a flying. So he called up the road, said I can't stop them. Said they've gotten by. Said it's something I've never seen before in my life. He said, I want you to stop them. Said you won't believe this. Said it's a white Cadillac going about 80 to 90 miles an hour, and a Thunderbird's right on his bumper, and it's a black policeman blowing his whistle trying to get him to stop right up behind his bumper. So that was the tale. Now I wanted you to hear it.
All
And
right.
if somebody told me it was true, I'd in church, wherever. Or when I go out to eat, just like last night, you was reaching down there, getting a hold of a towel and wiping my face. I couldn't eat.
That's okay.
This is
Yeah.
good, I tell you what.
Well, I want you to look nice. I tell him, I want him to look nice. He should be proud of me. I want him to look good, like he did when we got married.
That's a long time ago.
55
55 years.
Well, he'll give me a kiss.
I ain't gonna do it.
That's good, that's good.
We were married 55 years in January. And we've had some very, very, very good times. We've had some sad times, but we've had a lot of laughs. And so you better have a lot of laughs if you live with someone 55 years.
Especially me.
Huh?
Especially me, huh? I don't know what you're gonna do when I'm gone. You'll have to do like your sister Mac. Look for you an old man.
Well, I don't believe I want another man. I think I'll just sit back and
Well, they
relax.
don't last long, that's one thing.
I think I'll be ready to sit back and relax.
You get you an old man, and maybe he'll have some more money, and you could, he won't, if an old man, you might can wear him out pretty quick.
My.
Oh, me. Well, I think, like I say, I'll be ready for a little rest, so I'll just sit back and rest and read and relax and take it easy.
I know you're just like all the rest of them. As soon as you get my little money I got, why you gonna take off going looking for something. You're gonna be getting one of those Cadillacs. White Cadillac.
Well, what about you? Now, men are bad about wanting another wife.
Men always, women always outlay the men. You know that.
We've had some neighbors, their wife wasn't dead 5 months before they had to have another wife. And then half of them didn't live any time afterwards, really.
Yeah, we had one poor old man out there. His wife died, and he married in about 3 months, and he lived about 3 more months.
Exactly.
From there.
He was determined to I'd take him some soup and cornbread and oh, Miss Joyce, it's just so lonesome. Said, it's just not meant for man to live alone. I said, well, maybe not. But, well, I'm just so lonely. Said, well, it's so many men that way. They just cannot cope. But, anyway. But we got 2 lovely children. And we got 3 grandchildren, 1 great-grandchild.
I guess you better mention our in-laws too. You know, they might do very well too.
Yeah.
We don't have any fusses as I know of.
No, we do. We really have a very, very.
They do more for me than I do for them.
I don't know about that. We have a very, very sweet, affectionate, thoughtful daughter-in-law that's a very helpmate to Mike. And so we're just extra proud of her.
Well.
And then we have our son-in-law, Mac. Well, anyway, we have learned to love Mac, and he's been an excellent husband to Sue. And I know he's a good father. So we got a lot to be thankful for. And we've got 3 sweet grandchildren. And 2 dogs.
Great-granddaughter too.
Well, that's what I say. Yeah,
no,
we got
you said grandchildren. I said we have a great-granddaughter.
Great-granddaughter. That's right.
Miss Haley.
Yeah.
How old is Haley?
5 years old.
And she's smart as a tack, boy. They come, I think these children nowadays, they are so, well, I think what it is, we were talking the other Sunday in Sunday school class, when our children come along, we were so busy cooking, washing diapers, we didn't have Pampers then, they didn't, make such a thing.
Well, I can tell you
We
one
couldn't
thing,
enjoy our children.
it's sure different from now than it is when we got married.
Quite a bit. Quite a bit.
I got a 3-day pass within the Air Transport Command, and I didn't have any money hardly. I wrote my mother to sell a yearling, and I think she got $18 for it. That was in 43. We married in January of 44. Got $18. That was enough money that we could eat on and stay at the Tennessee Hotel, right next door to the Peabody. We stayed there 3 nights and ate off that, and that $18. Now what can you do with $18 today, especially something like that?
Couldn't afford the Peabody at that time. And but anyway, we just made it fine. And we've enjoyed very much getting to be, and like I say, we took our sister and sweet brother-in-law out for supper last night for their, how many years y'all been married?
In a few about 2-3 months, we'd be married 25 years.
So we took them out for their anniversary, because we knew we wouldn't be with them for their anniversary.
I don't know, we may make it, y'all treat us so nice, we may make a special trip up here.
Well, just come on, we'll load your car down. We'll load your car down, come on up. Always got an extra, 2 extra bedrooms, 3 extra bedrooms.
I can remember the first time I saw Carol. We were living in Memphis, and on Summer Avenue, and I came home. Joyce was working at the National Biscuit Company, and we lived on Summer Avenue, and I got there why Carol was a little girl about like this, and she and her mother, Rosa Mason, was there, and that's the first time I ever laid eyes on any of Miss Joyce's people, other than Mac and Cornell.
Well, how did we get her to Memphis that time? She come up, or went up there with me on the bus or something to see, was it Mac and Norman, and we forgot Michael was still on the bottle. Got on the bus and started back home. Carol was with me. Forgot his bottle.
Well,
But now how did she get up there?
I don't
can't
think
remember.
about that.
I sure don't remember.
I can't remember that, but anyway.
I can remember Sue, when she was about 3 years old, we went to St. Louis.
Oh, well, yeah.
Not 3 years, about 3 or 4 months old. And we got up to Clarksdale,
Oh,
and
yeah.
you told me that you needed a diaper for, and I stopped on the side of the road, went out back in the trunk of the car to get it. And I said, you told me it was in a certain suitcase, and I said, that suitcase is not here.
That had her diapers, all of her baby stuff. We had left that at home.
So we had to go back down to Clarksdale, and then I sent a telegram. Well, then the phone's out in the country then, and I had to send a telegram to Yazoo City to Effie Hicks's mother, Ms. King, to tell Effie to go stop by Mother and get that suitcase and send it to her.
Mail it to us now.
And she got it in the mail and sent it special delivery the next morning. And we got it, but it was about 3 days after we were in St. Louis.
Why were y'all going to St. Louis?
We were going up to see Mr. Fred and Miss Ella.
My brother Fred was going up there, and they were going to the ball game.
Jimmy Mills was, and Mike was about, Mike was about a month older than Jimmy. And so they were little fellows. And that was all the children then.
Sue cried the whole time we were up there, 'cause wasn't her bed. And our sister-in-law, Evelyn, was gonna keep her, and we were going to a ball game. She said she cried the whole time we were gone. And she'd cry at night. She just missed her baby bed, I guess. And we took, was that when we took Mike and Jimmy out to eat this Italian restaurant?
Yeah, we went to Dago Hill in St. Louis. It was Yogi Bear's hangout cafe.
Mike and
Big-
Jimmy, little old things.
A big bar and a restaurant. So we were in there
Had to wait.
having lunch, and Jimmy Mills turned to Mike Nutt and told him, or asked him, says, Mike, have you ever eaten at a Jew place before?
It was a
He
nice-
was saying he knew that Yogi Bear was some type of immigrant people from another country, so he got him as a Jew instead of an Italian.
Mike
And everybody laughed and laughed. We said that.
Mike said, yeah,
The waiter
lots and
came
lots of
along and
times.
we told him what had he ever eaten at a Jew place before. Mike said lots and lots of times.
They were little old things. We had to sit there and wait on our food, whatever they served there, but Italian restaurant.
Well, you know, I can go back in my memory. Oh, when I was 3 years old.
He doesn't forget anything.
I was born September 30th of 22 in a little sawmill town, railroad coming to run through there, over at Ludlow and Scott County. And I can remember my grandfather Nutt, that we lived with then, and my grandmother Nutt, we called her Muddy. That nickname came from her first children. When they was growing up, she was teaching them to call her mother. So they couldn't say they didn't. The oldest child, when he was a couple of years old, started to call her Muddy. And that was her name. All of her children called her Muddy, and then all of her grandchildren called her Muddy. But anyway, I can remember when my grandfather Nutt died, I was 3.5 years old. In those days, we didn't have undertakers to come, and big long black hearses like later. The community came to the house, and two gentlemen would take care of washing the body and dressing it and have it ready when they brought the casket. The casket was bought from a store. And Mr. John Lee was a big merchant in that town, and I can remember that I was a child. They brought backed that hearse up out there in the yard, and some clever men got this big long box off of it, and they put it out on the ground. I saw them open it up and take another box out. It was covered with cloth, and I saw them take it in the room. And so that afternoon, they had him laid out in the hallway of a home, and my daddy picked me up and let me view my grandfather. And I can tell you what he had on. He had on a gray suit, he had on a white shirt and a black bow tie. He had a little goatee on his chin. And I can see him right now, what he looked like. So, it was, a lot of people say they can't remember back to the 5 years old, but I wasn't but 3.5 years old when he died. And I remember the fall before that was in March, when I'd go with him down across the field to the gin lot. And I remember he crawled through a wire fence, and he got hung, and his suspenders got hung, and he had me to unhang him from the wire. And he carried me in the gin and showed me all through the gin. He and Mr. Ely had, my grandfather had some interest in that gin. So he'd let them have some land there to build, put it on. I guess, I don't know what was it, how much the interest he had, but anyway, he was, that was one of the things I can remember being.
That was when they were going home. That was when they were going home after the funeral. This was before the
That was
funeral.
before the funeral?
Okay.
Maybe so.
They showed the tape before the funeral.
Oh, the funeral. But it didn't upset the Cornell a bit.
But I thought it was so inappropriate, you know. But Ples was just sitting there in his recliner laughing and talking, and there we'd just been up to the funeral home, viewed him in the casket.
Well, you don't tell that. Don't tell that.
Oh.
I don't want that on there, Carol.
Carol, is it record up in the right-hand corner?
Well,
Yeah.
it's you know, it's no big deal,
I don't
really.
want that on there.
Oh, yeah, we might. Shouldn't have said that, shouldn't have said that, shouldn't have. But, you know, I mean, we just figured
You cut that off.
she would do it.
Yeah. I think it was 1971, 72. A friend of mine, Bill Brewington, he introduced me to Carol, and I thought when I saw her, I said, boy, that's a pretty woman right there, I tell you for sure. And so we went over to Nell Howe's house, and there we had coffee, and I got acquainted with her, knew her quite a bit better. Then we went to Memphis, to Burger King in Memphis, yeah, and had a Whopper. And I really enjoyed being with her, and we just developed from there on, you know, that I finally wooed her. I finally got her to kind of halfway like me, and so finally we got married. I haven't regretted the day of it since then. I guess.
She's been a very, very good helpmate to you,
Yes, she
hasn't
has.
she?
She really has. Carol's really been, she had to be good to put up with me,
Well,
you know. I haven't,
who always saw perfect? Who always saw
I
perfect?
think Jesus was the only one perfect that
Well,
I know
it's true. I mean, us human beings,
Yeah.
you know.
But,
But you know, until you, I think that's the trouble with these young people today. They think when they get married, they're gonna have these storybook romances, like on these soap opera things, everything is gonna be that way every day.
yeah, that's
And
true.
when the bills start coming in and so forth, you have a baby and all that kind of stuff, and, oh, it's things change. And so many of them, you know, they'd have mama or daddy to run home to. They don't tough it out like we all have to tough it out, if we like it or not. We had nobody to run home to. And I think it makes you.
That's the reason she stayed with me.
I think it makes you a stronger person. I think that's why we're stronger today.
Yeah, I think that's true. I agree with that. 100%.
Because, like you say, so many of these young people, see, they just, they just don't know how to cope. And they think, like you say, it's gonna be roses and all every day. That is quite a difference when you live with someone every day and all that. So you got to make up your mind for a lot of things.
Well, you know,
help yourself.
The truth in that, though, is it's like the way the parents bring them up, though, you know it.
Oh, sure, sure.
I know your children, all yours and Thomas' children, your son is doing well, and he's a respected person, and your daughter, I don't hear as much about her as I do
since Mike lives so
Michael,
close to
yes,
us.
but he, apparently he, both of them have had some good parenting coming up, and that's what made a difference. Nowadays, kids nowadays, their mom and daddy both work. They left with anybody. And when that takes place, when that happens, it just, they don't have the mom and daddy there.
That's true. Mother may be at the bridge game if she isn't working, or Daddy's out on the golf course. Mike used to be he's qualified to be a counselor, and he said those children on Monday morning, they were just couldn't wait to pour out what all had been going on. Well, what did you and Mom and Daddy do? Well, I didn't even hardly see them. They were here, yonder, and there, and it's so sad. And but every situation, of course, is so different.
Tommy, I like your house shoes.
They're warm,
Yeah,
and they're pretty.
they're pretty. That's
Well,
what
my
I said.
daughter-in-law gave them to me for Christmas.
Is that right?
Yeah.
He hold one foot up a little bit where Carol can sit there.
Shoot,
He fussed 'cause he got them, and I said, well, now start wearing them. You'll probably like them, so you can tell her how you're enjoying them. Well, anyway, and so now he just loves them. So he usually wears those most of the time.
Did Carol tell you about my house shoes over there in our room the other night?
You lost them?
Yeah, I lost the shoes.
I heard about that.
Yeah, and we went out and looked at the trunk of the car, fumbled around there, and I just knew that I took them out of a sack and laid them up there on the table. I thought, well, now how did anything disappear? And Carol had stuck them in a drawer.
Well, those
I
drawers
mean, we had
How
that.
long was that?
Huh?
How long was that gonna be?
We got over it right now.
That's the way he does
Yeah.
around his chair at
Carol, I
home.
think you can get ready to shut that off if you want to, huh?
Around his chair at home, he does his income papers, everything around his chair. You know, Joyce, have you moved so-and-so? It's not here. I said, I haven't touched it. I know better than to touch any of your stuff. It's not here. It's just appeared. It's
That's
just
enough.
walked off. You find it right over there on the floor or down in the
Well, that thing is a long one to do that.
couch or
That
something
thing
like
is,
that. Oh, goodness. But
You're on the air. Or you want me to wait?
just whatever you want to sing.
What's your favorite song that you like to lead?
Who y'all gonna dedicate that to?
Well, you mean some church
Yeah,
song?
I don't know hardly any others.
Well, Amazing Grace.
Okay.
We certainly should know that.
Okay. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. 'Twas grace that taught my heart to fear, and grace my fears relieved. How precious is that grace appear, the hour I first believed. Praise God, we'll do better next time.
This is for you.